Just when you think we're done getting news and updates about the future of Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige himself really said he'll go 4 more. Man, you know what? He'll go 10 more for you. Because we just got a whole bunch of insane news, updates, and leaks from the head honcho of Marvel Studios himself, Kevin Feige, about not just Doomsday rebooting the MCU, Miles Morales in the MCU, story details about the MCU X-Men reboot, Blade, Kang, and so much more. It really felt like Kevin Feige watched that interview of James unloading the gun about the future of the DCU and said, haha, I bet. And you know how I do. If I get crumbs, I'm gonna make a 5-star meal. Either way, me and you know what we gotta do. We gotta talk about it. And boom! Man, you know what? Doom! You looking for this? Because like I mentioned from the jump, Kevin Feige spilled a whole lot of tea doing a whole bunch of press interviews for the Fantastic Four, and he let some very interesting things slip. So who does Sniper Feige attack in this scenario? Kevin Feige over in his office like, we're all trying to find out who let this news slip, who win in this 1v1. But enough yap, I would argue there's not enough yap. Let's start off with this interesting bit of news with Kevin Feige giving us some context into the decision to go with Dr. Doom instead of Kang. He said, even before what happened to the actor, we had started to realize that Kang wasn't Thanos. There was only one character that could be that because he was that in the comics for decades and decades, and because of the Fox acquisition, we finally had it, and that's Dr. Doom. We had started talking about Dr. Doom even before we officially pivoted from Kang. In fact, I had started talking with Robert about this audacious idea before Ant-Man 3 even came out. Now, this is really interesting, and I gotta stop you right there, Kevin, because I got the devil and the angel on both my shoulders right now. Because my initial reaction to reading that is, why the fuck you lying? Because it's hard to believe that they set up Kang in various different projects, had him show up as various different characters at the end of Ant-Man 3 just to pivot. I just don't believe that what happened to Jonathan Majors didn't play a huge factor into them changing to Doom. So while I could believe that they just really love the idea of bringing Robert Downey Jr. back to play Dr. Doom because it just fits the thematics of the story they're trying to tell, we can't deny that on the surface, this just screams like a desperate move. Let's bring back the guy everyone loves, but have him play Marvel's most iconic villain. I think it's fair to question it, but also be really excited for it, because there's something very interesting the MCU can do with this adaptation, and why I'm personally excited to watch Doomsday. But I just have a hard time believing that what happened to Jonathan Majors didn't play a huge factor into them pivoting. But moving on, Kevin Feige revealed that the MCU is currently on a 7-year plan that goes up to 2032, where he also revealed that the plan after Doomsday and Secret Wars is to reset the MCU to singular timelines. That's interesting because he used plural, not just one timeline, timelines. And he also indicated that iconic MCU characters like Tony Stark and Steve Rogers could be rebooted as well, with new actors in the role, saying, and I quote, Amy Pascal and David Heyman are now searching for a new James Bond. David Cornsweet is the new Superman. He was awesome. That will always be the case for these iconic characters. And I don't really think this is too shocking. I always felt like after Secret Wars, they would do a soft reboot, just like in the damn comic themselves. Along with recasting the iconic characters, I feel like that was inevitable, just like Thanos. But the interesting thing is that he said reset singular timelines. So does that mean Kevin Feige, Marvel Studios are going to be exploring like Elseworlds projects, otherwise known as What If in Marvel, where they allow creatives to work in their own special world to make the best film that they see possible in their vision and not having to worry about playing in the MCU sandbox? I feel like that would be really interesting and dope, kind of like what James Gunn is doing with the Batman universe while still having the DCU universe. I feel like that's the only logical next step for the MCU to not get stale. Like, sure, it's all connected at the end of the day, and if you want to have them team up during some multiversal shit, sure, do it. But I would really like it if we could just get movies that are set in their own universe and have their own specific style. That's why I'm really excited for Fantastic Four. But let me know what you think he means by this. And speaking of the Fantastic Four and Doomsday, Kevin Feige revealed that the Fantastic Four members are already halfway done filming their scenes for Doomsday. During an interview with comicbook.com, Matt Shackman revealed that the Russo brothers actually directed the Fantastic Four post-credit scene. So you know it's gonna be a big one, just like the new Avengers one. Could we potentially be seeing Doom? If we do, I'm gonna give it 5 big Dooms. Doom, 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 doom. Feige also dropped an interesting nugget about the Fantastic Four, saying that it's our 37th MCU film and really the first standalone setting up its own new established universe. There's no homework required. Everything you need to know about the Fantastic Four you learn in the first 10 minutes of the movie, which I see as an absolute win. And according to the early reactions, those first 10 minutes are breathtaking. Oh, and it was also revealed that the stars of Roger Corman's Fantastic Four from '94 each have cameos in the new Fantastic Four movie. So that just means it's already the best Fantastic Four movie ever made. I guess you could really say it's the hell. Now, we also learned that everyone's favorite writer, Michael Waldron, is going to be working on the script for Doomsday, so they don't have a finished script. And listen, despite what he wrote in Multiverse of Madness, I'm willing to give him a chance because that was during the dark ages of Marvel, during COVID, during the time when they were having to pump out projects just to produce projects, not worry about the quality. So I'm going to be very cautiously optimistic though. And something that we all know, but it's nice to hear from the head honcho himself, was about how Marvel Studios went about making their projects after Endgame, saying that we've had well over 100 hours of stories in half the time. That's too much. I think it led people to say say, it used to be fun, and now do I have to know everything about all of these damn things? They were just pumping out too many damn projects at once, introducing too many characters that might not ever get followed up on. But I'm glad we got that news a couple months back saying that they've course corrected and worried about more a quality over quantity approach. It helps that Bob Iger came back in and said, Kevin, just do your thing. Don't worry about what Bob Chapek's dumbass had to say. Just make the best projects possible. So I'm excited. And speaking of all those characters that got introduced, Kevin Feige did comment on Moon Knight and Eternal specifically, saying, I don't know that it's any of the specific ones you just named, but yes, that is part of the plan. Characters we've introduced post-Endgame will pop up again in some of the upcoming movies and beyond. And he was also asked about those post-credit scenes that everyone says will never get followed up on. It's about what the right moment is. Some maybe we'll never see again. Some maybe we'll see soon. Some maybe it'll be like Tim Blake Nelson, 17 years in between. Who knows? I mean, he's got a point. I never thought we would see the leader again from the Incredible Hulk movie and he showed back up in Brave New World. Or like the box of scraps guy in Far From Home. Like, they can always just circle back as long as these people don't age out of their damn roles. Now, moving on, it's officially official, even though we all knew. Kevin Feige confirmed that Jake Schreier, director of Thunderbolts, will be directing the X-Men MCU reboot. And he revealed that the X-Men reboot will have a young cast and be filled with youth. I think starting off with the OG X-Men team from the comics would be a great way to go. Like, give us the characters in their truest form that we haven't seen. And hold off on Wolverine for just a second. Give Cyclops his time to shine for real. Kevin Feige also revealed some very interesting things about Spider-Man Brand New Day. One, officially confirming that Jon Bernthal will be appearing as the Punisher in the film. He really said, let me tell you something. I'll tell you what. But he also revealed that Punisher will be tonally different in this film. I really hope that doesn't mean that he's going to be too goofy. Because there is a way to do Punisher in PG-13, like I've said time and time again. Obviously, we can't have him blasting people's faces off. But off-screen shooting and killing, why not? It's about damn time that Spider-Man grows the fuck up with his audience in the MCU. None of this more childish shit. Give us some more tones. Like the moment he got his spider sense in No Way Home, keep that tone or go even darker for the rest of the MCU Spider-Man. Kevin Feige also confirmed what a lot of us already knew, but it's nice to hear from him, that Spider-Man Brand New Day will be a street-level movie. Saying him being by himself, dedicated to saving the city and dealing with, for lack of better terms, street-level crime as opposed to world-ending events, is the logical next step for this version of Spider-Man. Say no more, take my money. But there are going to be cynical people that are going to say, is he really alone? We got Punisher and most likely Hulk in this film. But to that I say, I think Punisher and Hulk actually work very thematically if this movie really is truly about Spider-Man being by himself. What better characters to look at in the mirror than Punisher and Hulk as examples of what not to do? Editor Sammy popping in because we got this news after I recorded the video, but Kevin Feige teased that Spider-Man Brand New Day will be bringing a bunch of comic covers brought to life. He said, and I quote, Destin is doing an amazing job right now. He's got 8 to 9 comic covers up on his wall in his art department that he is bringing to life. And all I gotta say is, this might just be the best MCU Spider-Man movie to date. I cannot wait for this. I need it more than I need air. But we also got some Miles Morales crumbs as well, where Marvel Studios was explicitly told not to introduce Miles Morales until the Spider-Verse movies are done, which I feel like is kind of obvious since Sony controls his rights anyway. What the fuck control does Marvel Studios have? But you just know they're going to introduce him sooner than later. Feige was also asked about a Young Avengers project, and all he had to say was potentially. He also called Iman Vellani one of the greatest castings the MCU has ever done. And between all that news and Joe Locke doing an interview where he accidentally said he was doing a Marvel movie, I think we can all but confirm that the Young Avengers or the Champions, whatever they're called in the MCU, are going to appear in one of these next 2 Avengers movies. So maybe they are adapting elements of Children's Crusade, and we'll see Wanda back too. Finally, ending off with some somewhat somber news, but Kevin Feige revealed that he only has about 2 years left on his current contract at Marvel Studios. But will he see the end of that contract re-up or bounce after it's over? It's going to be an interesting next 2 years. But he did say he does see himself overseeing Marvel Studios for the next 10 to 15 years because that's all he really wants to do right now. Feige also gave us some Deadpool and Wolverine crumbs, saying that he thinks there's more fun to be had with both of those characters, but we'll just have to wait and see where. I'm obviously assuming it's going to be in Secret Wars or Doomsday. There's going to be a lot of X-Men people. And he also said he had talks with Ryan Reynolds about what's next for Deadpool in the MCU. And you already know me. I think they're going to be doing an X-Force film, like an actual X-Force film, and not having them die off in the first 10 seconds of their appearance. So that just seems like the logical next step for Deadpool for me anyway. And it could be a fun way to do something creative and new outside of the MCU. And on top of that, Kevin Feige also revealed that some characters will visit Fantastic Four's universe in Avengers Doomsday, which basically means that they save the day. And like, that's kind of a spoiler. Kevin, what are you doing, brother? The movie comes out in 5 days. What are we doing? Finally, Kevin Feige also gave us some updates on Blade. He said it went through 4 different versions before ultimately coming to one that's going to take place in the modern day. And dog, it's about damn time we see Mahershala Ali as Blade. All we've gotten is crumbs of his voice in Eternals and a blink and you'll miss it cameo in What If as Moon Knight, not even Blade. With the first overall pick in the 2019 MCU draft, Marvel Studios selects Mahershala Ali. And this is the Greg Oden of casting choices. How hard is it to make a Blade movie? Come on, man. But that's all the new news and updates we got from Marvel Studios from Kevin Feige himself. Let me know what you think about my thoughts, theories, and opinions down in the comments below. And as always, like and follow for more.